Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second night of Celebrate Jamestown Theatre Week. And tonight we're going to talk about and see our show, The Happening, which was our one-act play from the 2018-2019 school year. And joining me live via the fantastic platform of Zoom, well, live for us anyway, are Justin Ekstrom. Say hello, Justin. And Ari Konkel.
Hi.
I'm going to talk to these folks for just a second and catch up with them, and then we'll take a look at the filmed copy of The Happening, and then I'm going to ask them some questions about the show. So, Ari, tell us what you've been doing since you graduated from the Jamestown High School.
I go to college at the University of Mary Washington, and now I'm just working at Food Lion for the summer, so nothing too exciting.
And how has the quarantine been for you? What have you been doing to keep busy other than work? Anything? Just catching up on sleep, schoolwork?
No, I'm just going outside pretty much. That's all.
Okay.
Enjoying nature.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Justin, how about you? What has been keeping you busy since you graduated?
I've been working on a novel, which has been super fun. I took a gap year after high school before college, and now I'm working on the second draft. Yeah. Other than that, just relaxing. It's been a good year.
Cool, very good. All right, we are going to take a look at The Happening, which, like I said, was our 2018-2019 competition one-act play. I hold in my hands the published version of The Happening.
Wow.
And so I'm going to introduce the show by reading off the names of the people who were in the show. So shout out to Benjamin, Bridget, Jack, Justin, Kayla, Xander, Ariadne, Aiden, Tori, Annabelle, Ryan, Jakia, Rory, Trish, Peyton, Grace, Madigan, Bella, Kylie, Lauren, Jacob, Ben, Giovanni, Jackson, Abby, Connor, and Ethan. And here is The Happening. We hope you enjoy it.
But also, I get to really introduce to you a play written by Harvey Stone. I think we are so privileged to have here in James City County someone who's such a prolific writer and is able to share that with his kids in his program, and they're able to grow as writers and also get the experience of using original works. So tonight we're going to be seeing The Happening. And it is written by Harvey Stone and directed by Harvey Stone. And so again, we're going to go by VTA rules. So I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, Jamestown High School, are you ready? Yes. Jamestown High School, your time starts now.
Simple.
Give to be free, 'tis a
Give to calm down where we ought to be, and when we find ourselves in the place
We wish to express our thankfulness for the outpouring of care and support which has been bountiful since yesterday. We ask that you please respect our children, our families, and the community, as we must keep living for those who remain. We as a community, the community of Red Hill will make no further public statements about this happening, except to say, God has given, God has taken. Blessed be the names and works of our Lord.
Maybe you should go inside first. I can just do some reading or editing down in town or at the hotel. No need for me to be here right away.
But I might want you here? Like a moral support kind of thing? It's been a while.
I know. I just don't want to make things any more complicated than they might already be.
Well, I might not even get through the front door. This may be a very short trip. You'd be halfway back to town and your sense of direction isn't very good. You'd almost be there and I'd have to call you back and I'd have to put out a missing persons report.
I got it! I'll stay. So, we're here. I'm staying. Are you just going to go on?
You know, I hadn't really thought that far out. Maybe we should go by the school building first. We'll end up over there eventually.
They'll be having some kind of service, a memorial, something to remember.
I doubt it. Well, we don't. They don't do that sort of thing. No wreaths, no ceremonies, no speeches. Well, I wouldn't stake my life on it, but I'm sure nothing will be said over there at all. I used to see the roof of the school building right through those trees. Must have grown up, building that hill.
Here, do you think we could see it with my telephone?
Let's just go over there. We can come back.
You're stalling.
I am not stalling. These people are just very precise by the book sort of thing, you know? If they're not outside working, they're inside having breakfast. I don't want to interrupt.
Danny.
It'd be a lot easier if we could come back. I guess I imagine them outside working, or reading, or doing laundry, or something, and then I could talk to them one at a time, you know? A bit more organically.
Oh, like, hi there, sis, it's me, your long-lost brother. How are Mom and Dad, and how's this year's corn?
Well, that's not our corn, that's the Stoltons' corn. It's on their land. Theirs starts on that side of the road, and ours on this side.
Is that in the Ord tongue?
Oh, the Ord, no. No, it's not the Ord tongue. The rules are on the Ord tongue. The land boundaries are on the register.
Got it.
So let's just wait a while. They'll come out eventually.
I'm pretty sure you can walk in your own house. Dang.
Let's just wait a while.
It's your trip, your call.
Thanks. I'm gonna go get the water bottle from the car.
Got it.
Okay. So, is it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, but can I ask a question? What is that god-awful smell?
Okay. Which one?
Which one? The one that smells like teetotal shit.
Okay, you're gonna have to be a little bit more clear about that. So you might be smelling the softer shit smell coming from the tree. You might be smelling the muskier shit smell coming from the horses, but what you're probably smelling is the shittier shit smell coming from the cows.
Sounds it, the last one.
Part of the charm, don't you think? Sort of like you telling me the MTA train always smells like urine just because it always has. It's part of the place, you know?
It's not the same.
It's exactly the same.
This isn't working out the way you thought.
Well, I had a lot more courage when we were 200 miles away.
I understand. There's no shame in trying.
I know. I just didn't think I'd feel this way until we got here. There's something kind of final about it.
There could be something final about it. There could also be something really wonderful or profound about it.
And it's up to them.
Maybe it's up to you.
Maybe it's up to you.
Let's just come back tomorrow. It's It's too much for one day. We can go by the school building, and you can take some pictures over by the water, and then we can just come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow it is. One day at a time. Tomorrow.
We won't be hosting Zinklischer tomorrow, sir. We have a fasting day tomorrow. I'd be happy to get you some eggs, or show you the quilts, whatever you came for.
Hello, Mother?
I'm Miriam Zook. I live here with my husband, Miller John Zook. I'll have to ask you and your company to leave if you don't want anything. We've a lot to do this morning.
Mother, you can talk to me. You don't have to run us off like that.
Again, sir, I'd be happy to sell you something, but if you're just here to look, some of our community actually offer a tour of the area back in town.
Yes, we'll take some.
Buy some milk.
But I'm a vegan.
Just buy the milk.
We'll take some milk.
Butter?
No, just milk. We definitely don't need any butter.
Buttermilk.
Yes, ma'am, butter. No.
I'll be right back with the milk. I was hoping you might want to look at the quilts. I could get my daughters to bring them down for you to look at. They are blessed to be quick with the needle and thread, but if you're not interested,
No, tell her we want to see the
going on
quilts.
their morning chores.
We'll see the quilts, I guess.
Yes. Sarah, Rachel, there's an English here who wants to see your quilts. Bring them down. If you'll excuse me, I'll send the buttermilk with them. Miller Zook will be here shortly, I'm sure.
When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Thank you, young ones, for that special song. Any thoughts from the girls? Ruth?
That was really wonderful. I could feel your spirit in the recitation.
Any thoughts from the boys? I didn't think so. Two of you whispered during the entire recitation. Daniel, Isaiah, please stand.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you apologize to the girls.
We are sorry. And to you as well.
Now, girls, you get back to work on the quilts for the farmer's market. Boys, since Daniel and Isaiah are so eager to speak, they are going to practice their reading on it. Daniel, come get the book. Sir, we don't accept visitors here.
Quiet.
Leave. I said, leave. Now, I'm going to need all of you to listen to me very carefully. Understand? Good. Very good.
Sir?
I didn't ask you to talk. I asked you to listen. Go sit down.
Sir, I was thinking that our teacher is certainly going to go get our fathers. Out of concern and such, there is bound to be a scene. Maybe we shut the windows to keep everything kind of quiet. For you?
Yes, that sounds right. Girls?
Put these clothes away. Line up over here. And boys! Shut the windows. Ah!
That one's real special, Sarah. And Rachel, you could win a prize with this one.
Daniel, it's so nice to see you. And you know today...
That's why we came.
Everything's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Sorry.
No. And Sarah, you're through with school? And Rachel, not too far behind, I assume?
You know you should not assume. We both finished last year.
I can't speak for myself. I should have gone 1 or 2 more years, but I couldn't see going every day without Sarah. Wouldn't feel right to be the only Miller who left at the school.
I see.
But I am keeping up my studies. Wait, let me go get something.
Sarah, do you mind if I take pictures of these?
We don't mind.
I'm Justin, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
What else did Mother say?
She didn't say anything, Daniel. Just there was a man down here we should bring our clothes to. Just to make sure we get a fair price, and gave us 2 bottles of vodka. I asked her what man needed 2 bottles, and she just threw me away. Said she was going to go to the school for a bit.
And Father wasn't going?
He and John are out taking 3 deliveries. We have a fashion day tomorrow, so there's much to do.
Since when does Miller Zook let Mother go to another house alone?
Why does everyone keep calling him Miller Zook? I thought your father's name was John.
He runs the mill. There are a lot of Zook families in our register, so to keep all this straight, they have these titles. My father runs the mill, so he is Miller Zook. The dairy farm Zook is Dairy Zook, and the farm that we passed with the big silos, that's Silo Zook.
And that's oddly, Justin.
Not odd, just different. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Why can they talk to you, but your mother won't?
She can't.
Sure she could.
She can't because she's a member.
And you're not a member?
We haven't joined yet. None of us.
But little John neither.
No.
Well, I thought you all would have joined. Thought no one would be able to talk.
It didn't feel right joining yet. Father has to take our time. It's Father's mother, I can tell. Tomorrow's fashion day is for fall communion. She's expected to put her name on the registry, I know, but I am not sure. I think John.
I see.
He's not going to be happy with you calling him that.
Huh?
Little John. He's not little anymore. We just call him John.
Okay, close your eyes. I want to show you something. Like a surprise.
Rachel. Sarah. Go on with it.
Close your eyes. And cross your hands. Close your eyes. Open.
My book.
I read it first.
And I read it next, then John.
Where did you get it? How?
We found it at the English library.
Does Mother know?
No. We keep it out on the desk in the mail office. John has all Father's English currency books now. Mother never goes out there.
We have checked it out and kept it over so many times. So far, we're up to a $2.20 fine as a library.
She's so proud to have a debt.
I'm not proud. They have no way of keeping up with us anyway.
Meaning?
Lord John says we cannot take library cards or driver's license.
Well, you can take that one back. No need having that fine building up. I can give you a copy.
Better not. You know we can't own anything.
It is a very nice gesture, Daniel.
Well, if you change your mind, I have one for you. I have one for all of you, if you'd like. I'm actually doing a reading. Tomorrow night, you can come, if you want.
I had to skip over some of the words I didn't understand,
And I helped you with some of them.
And can I ask you what you thought?
I was surprised. I thought it was going to be more about the happening, but it seemed to be more about you. There are parts I especially liked.
Such as?
We talked about the games we used to play when we were little.
I like the last parts where you were writing about your life as a
city and how sometimes you just stop and think about what the sunset looked like here and the sound of the leaves under your feet as a fall. It really made me notice those things again. Made me see things the way I was supposed to again. And then he started to write about you. That was real sweet.
I thought so too.
You even remembered what we talked about that morning on the roof.
Yes, you and Abraham Stoltfoot sitting next to each other after the barn raising.
Not just that.
With Isaiah. I didn't write about him in that section.
No. You remember me wanting to name one of the piglets, and Mother telling me it wasn't a good idea. You tried to explain in the best way possible that the piglet was going to be a pig, and isn't going to be around for long.
To everything there is a season.
He always has the best way of explaining things to us, when we were little, that is.
He's still pretty good at that. He spent the whole drive up here explaining this and that to me. Were there any parts you didn't like of the book?
Go ahead, it's okay.
That's not to be critical.
It's not being critical. Your first edition sold well, so they're going to run a second. I can make changes.
Danny,
Go on.
I don't like the last parts where you're writing about talking to father outside the schoolhouse and calling the reporters. Seems unnatural.
Come on, let's show you the new office.
You know, I wasn't expecting there to be this many of you. Not like when I was in school.
Are you Amish, sir?
No! Just... shh.
Sir, if I might, there are some little ones here. It wouldn't do them or you any good to stay. Especially if you feel like there might be too many for you. Maybe if you just let the smallest ones go.
Boys?
Get up! Now. I'm gonna need y'all to leave. Right at the back door if you wouldn't mind.
Daniel,
It's okay, do what he says.
Ain't nothing you can do for these girls now, boys. So leave! Ah!
Please don't go! Please don't go!
John, I need you to go by Esther's place today. She said she needed some help moving some things out of the barn. You know today's a pretty rough day for her. John, I am talking to you. Are you listening?
Daniel.
It's only you weren't little John anymore. Now I can see why. You've grown like an ox. Okay. You're squeezing me like one too. All right, don't kill me. It's nice to see you. Hey, I hear you're joining the church tomorrow. I'm glad I made it in time.
Oh, it's nice to see you too.
I'm his father, John Zucker.
Justin Reading. Pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm getting...
Nice, firm handshake. Pleasure to meet you as well. Rachel, could you get some...
She's been a wonderful host, Father.
Did you get me this morning? Drive in for any special reason? I suppose that's your shiny English car over there. A light? We have one, but a truck, in case anyone in the community were to need it. Not as backwards as some of you would have the rest of the world believe. You'd be surprised the number of English who come up here and believe we don't have electricity or that we aren't allowed to use the phone. We just don't bring those things into the house. We don't own them, we share. We can even get on the phone out in the office for business. I do good business here. John does also getting stuff for distributions that way. We just got our own ways.
Oh, we can take you for a ride in the car if you'd like. We rented it. Don't need one in the city.
It's nice. Like I said, so. We have a truck if anyone in the community were to need it. Don't remember the last time we started it, so.
Father, I was hoping...
John? You might want to go see the vehicle. Mr. Reading, was it?
Please call me Justin, sir.
John, Justin will take you to see his vehicle. Rachel, you can go too.
I can?
I said you could. And then maybe after Justin would like to see some of the animals or something. Where are your mother and Sarah?
Mother went to help with a shepherd and Sarah's at the schoolhouse.
Very good. Follow your brother now.
Yes, sir. Daniel, are you coming?
I'm going to wait here for...
Is this okay?
Yeah. Fine. So good. Sarah was showing me all the things that have changed. Sort of all looks frozen in time to me. Saw your new office though, it's perfect. And you know, I always said we should think about having more chickens, and I'm glad to see that that's working out for you. And Sarah was showing me the new sign out front. Said that you paid a professional to make it. It's real nice too. Tells everyone just where to go and what places are off limits. And Rachel was showing me the sunflower garden. Said that the English liked it. Those at the summer markets. Oh, and Rachel was telling me why I couldn't see the roof of the school building anymore. Said that you built a new school over by Fisher's Creek area. I'm sure it serves its purpose like everything else here. Makes sense. Tearing down the old school.
Didn't have much of a choice. Just felt like a necessity. There are needs and there are wants. Felt more like a need.
I see. I saw Mother this morning, but she didn't sort of look right through me, you know? You know how she is. She didn't talk to me though. She told Justin to buy some buttermilk and then said, you just had to see the film.
I'm sure Rachel or Sarah could take you to see the new school building if you want.
I don't know if that's something I
Could be some good research for your next stories.
Oh, sure. Maybe Justin could take some pictures.
He could.
They're not stories, though. It's just sort of how I remember things. I didn't make up anything that happened here.
I know that.
But writing about it was just the best way to come to terms with it all. Growing up. The rules, my feelings, the shooting.
The happening.
Right. The happening. Sorry.
I read your book, you know.
Sir?
I said I read your book.
I got it sent back to me in the mail. Return to sender. You sent it back. I just assumed you hadn't read it.
Your mother sent it back. Minimal personal possessions and all. I suggested we give it to the library or the parish register. They are a bit more liberal, I hear, than we are. But she insisted we give it to the we bring it to the post office and return it to you.
But you read it.
Your siblings don't think I know about all the things they keep out in the mill office. What I did? Came across the book, your book, read it a bit at a time. It was like you were talking to me again and I was listening. So I didn't imagine you was this English accent.
I never stopped talking to you. You stopped talking to me.
Well, that makes it sound simple.
Wasn't it though? Isn't that what you teach? It was a simple vote to shun Danielson or not.
If you hadn't have been a member, it wouldn't have been like that. And they gave you time to reconcile.
Oh yes, 8 weeks of silent treatment was going to reconcile 18 years of what everybody thought.
If you hadn't taken such a firm stance.
If you had just stood up for me.
Your mother held this family together. I appreciate her devotion to us and to God. If I had turned my back on her and what she believes, what we do believe...
Can we stop?
Certainly.
I just want to talk. I don't want to fight or argue.
I don't want to fight. It's not my way. I know it isn't yours.
No. We haven't talked in 7 years. It's been 7 years.
Almost.
I missed you. I missed all of you.
But you seem to have found your way.
I'm finding it. With justice. We're finding it together.
In spite of it all.
Because of it all. Look, I realized I had a story to tell and that other people were interested in.
Your story.
Well, it's actually just our life.
And that's why your mother can never read it. You know she couldn't bear to have people prying into her ways.
I know. I just thought maybe.
Look, she'll be back soon.
But you don't think that there's a chance?
Just come back tonight.
For dinner.
You know she wouldn't be able to seat you at the table. Just come back tonight. I'll try and lay the groundwork for you. But you're going to have to meet her halfway.
But what about Justin?
I would not. But you have proven yourself to be your own man. So I suppose you will.
I will. Look, if things were to go horribly wrong, I would hate to have the other kids be here.
You know there won't be any keeping them away if I tell them you're coming back.
So don't tell them.
I'm not going to lie.
Sin of omission.
Sin of omission.
And me and you, are we okay?
Well, I've talked to you, invited you into my home, and read your book. All things for which I could be shunned myself, so I'd say that's a great marker of where we stand.
So it's just Mother.
It's always been her.
Really, sir, if you would just let the smallest ones go, all of this crime would be done with.
I've asked you to please be quiet.
Just let me see if use the back door, and then you can think.
Yes, they can go.
Thank you, sir. They're just too young to understand.
And you do? You understand all of this?
Well,
Tell me why. Go on. Why am I doing this? No. Tell me.
Well, you're just worried about something and you think coming up here and hurting us is going to fix it.
Get away. Yes. Yes, I do.
Well, it's going to get you in a whole lot of trouble with the law.
And what do you know about the law? The Amish don't believe in the English law.
You said yourself you aren't Amish. You're real confused over something. We do the best we can. And we don't have all the answers. The obvious this way. Worried, I worry about my family. Some of them in this room right now. You let two of them go with the boys. My brother, he's just like you. Don't understand all of our ways. His name is Daniel. Danny, you might say. Life has him confused over a lot of things. He asks lots of questions. You just have to ask the right people. People who will listen. But he is happy here. I know he is. I can see it in the way he comes and goes. He doesn't need an answer to keep living.
I ain't got nobody who'll listen to me.
You have me. I'll listen.
Daniel has some things he'd like to say.
You know very well he need not apologize to you or me. He needs to reconcile himself with the bishop first and then the community if he would like to be allowed back.
I didn't come to be accepted by the people of Red Hill. I came to be accepted by you.
He wants your forgiveness, Mother.
Well, that's just not possible.
I wouldn't put it like that, Father. I don't need her forgiveness.
Then,
we don't offer forgiveness on the benefit of others. We offer it so we can move on.
Well, he's certainly done that. Moved on so far, he's forgotten about us. That must be a style of forgiveness I'm not familiar with. Forgetting.
Well, I learned that here. Forget. The past is the past. What is done cannot be undone. You are all so quick to forgive those on the outside. And so quick to turn your backs on those of us on the inside.
Father, let's go in.
No, listen! You forgave that man who killed Ruth? But you couldn't forgive me for not being there.
That man didn't know any better. That man deserved our forgiveness. Because that is what we teach. That is what we know. He didn't have the godly example you have. You spent your entire life watching and learning from us. It's the example we set for you. It's one of the most basic tenets of our faith. Follow the examples that is set. We don't have to write down our rules. People see them. Our children see them. You saw them. We follow what we see.
If you listen to yourself, you're making my point for me. We follow the example that has been set for us. We follow the example of how to help thy neighbor, how to wear our clothes, how to live a simple life. But there is no example of what to do when a madman comes in a school building to torture children.
You just forgive in all circumstances. Forgive.
So somehow I committed this cardinal sin of standing up against the bishop and questioning if we could forgive a man so quickly.
Daniel!
No! No, of asking him, our leader, our entire community, to really examine their hearts, to see if they can forgive such a horrible human.
You called them liars.
I spoke truth to power.
You called them liars.
You turned your back on what we believe.
You called into question our way of life. You have the courage to stand up and condemn that man in front of us.
But you didn't have the courage.
Finish it. But I didn't what? I didn't have the courage.
Please leave our home.
Finish!
Please leave.
Miriam!
He has to go.
I had the courage! I had the courage to stand up to the bishop, but I didn't have the courage to stand up to that man that morning. When he came into our school and got everyone in line, I didn't say anything, but Ruth did. My little sister did. He started to tie all the girls up. I froze. Ruth tried to reason with him. I only thought of myself. When he told all the other boys to leave, I bolted. I didn't turn back. Ruth stayed and fought. Well, I was already halfway home, coming to find you scared for my life. Well, Ruth, she stood against him, and she protected all those children, knowing that he made a sacrifice while I ran and ran and ran, too scared even to listen for the gunshots, and she's lying there, dead. And you were screaming at Father to go out there and tell the English we forgive the man who did it. That God gives and God takes away, and we should rejoice in the life that she lived. You did what everyone would have done. What everyone else did.
Everyone's but Ruth!
We are blaming you for Ruth's death. I supported your shunning because you turned your back on yourself. You didn't have the courage to forgive. You don't have love here. But if you've lost the courage to forgive, then you don't have anything.
You mean me and Isaiah will help? At my shunning, he sat there and told the entire community about him and me. Every little detail just pushing me further away.
He wasn't trying to push you away. He was trying to push his sin away. To come before God by facing us, the community that cares about him. That way of life is behind him now.
But that is who I am. And I don't want that part of me pushed to the past.
So you want your family pushed to the past?
No, that's what you want.
Stop making your stunning life decisions!
Stop being blameless, everyone! Stop yelling.
I won't be treated this way in my home.
It's my home, too. You know that English have it all wrong? They're under this misguided notion that Amish women are somehow suppressed by the ordinary. That the unwritten rules of no buttons on your clothes, covering your head, not handling money, that has you held down. But the truth that I know all too well is that the women here, the mothers here, are actually in charge.
Women are supposed to run the household.
No, not just the household! Everything. No, while the men are outside working, the women are inside, teaching the girls how to make jelly and how to manipulate the men. You get together with the others and you decide how the community is going to react. You poison your husbands against their own children. And our wants, and our needs. And you tell them how to think.
That's it. You think I turned this family against you?
Did.
I showed you love, the only way love has been shown.
That doesn't make it right.
I let God be my judge. Ruth,
We all can't be saints like Ruth, mother. Not even you.
I realize I have failed you all. But I have tried. Son, I just don't want to have failed you.
What's going on?
Called me son.
I ain't got nobody who will listen to me.
We hope you enjoyed the happening. I guess I'm going to ask these folks some questions about their experience with the show. And of course, if you have questions, you can put them in the comments and I'll respond. My email address is there if you want to read a copy of the script. The link for that is all down below. So the conversation doesn't have to end here, but I'll set it up by saying that this first question we all approach acting and theater in different ways. So I guess I'll ask, starting with Ari, Did you, when you read did you read it first? Or did you just know you wanted to be Ruth, or did someone say, hey, be Ruth, or did you want to be Ruth? I don't remember.
I remember that we all like did a read through together first, I'm pretty sure, in the theater room, and then after that we all started like picking different characters to like audition for. And then I'm pretty sure you said you wanted me to be Ruth, like after we did those auditions.
Okay, and did you have any inclination? Do you remember, did you want to be Ruth? Were you resistant to it? Were you like, oh yeah, let's do it? Or
I actually wanted to be Mom. I forget her name, but
Miriam.
Yeah. But I liked this character, so
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Justin? Were you there at that first read through?
Yeah, I just remember having fun and really liking the play. I don't think I like envisioned myself in any of the roles, which I guess is funny because then later you told me about who Daniel is actually, or not Daniel. What was Anthony was my name initially.
Yes.
But I didn't recognize that it had been written for me. So it was cool for me to find that out in the audition process. Yeah, and I was super happy to play him.
Yeah, so if you don't know, for those of you listening at home, when I write these plays, I sort of cast the ensemble first, and then as I'm writing, I'm thinking specifically about these students who are in the ensemble, and very often a couple of voices will like come to my head, and I will like hear their actual voice in my head as I'm writing a specific character. And so like in the happening, in the published copy, I sort of indicate a little bit about that. So I write about Justin, and I say very often when I write with people's voices in my head. I think about very real people, and I think about their personalities, acting styles, or personal journeys. Most specifically, I think about their actual voices. When I wrote The Happening, I was thinking about one of my students, Justin. The real Justin is incredibly level-headed, quite talented, extremely smart, loyal, methodical, and observant. The character Justin should have those same qualities. Yeah, his name was Anthony in the original script, but when I wrote it, his name was Justin, and then I did like a Control-F and found all the mentions of the word Justin and changed it over to Anthony, just to like see what the sort of the student's first impression would be. And in my mind, Justin was always going to be Justin/Anthony. Ari, what was challenging about Ruth?
The most challenging part, I would say, having to act as though I like am protecting the kids that were in the schoolhouse with me. That was probably the most challenging part, just like trying to like find a way to realistically comfort everyone, even though they weren't all in arm's reach. Like walking.
And you spent a lot of the play like frozen, like standing still and like looking at Aiden, who played the man in the show. I don't know that I ever asked you if that was okay or if that was a challenge, but was it physically complicated for you, or you just?
I would say so, because then there's like certain times where you like pose with a certain like look on your face that you're like, okay, this kind of hurts, but I have to do this for another 5 minutes or something, like, and like blinking and stuff, and just like you have to control your breathing and everything. So that was challenging.
And I will say, like, one of the like touch points in my memory of the show is like you and that cloth that you had, and like are always like wondering like, do we have the cloth? Because it was like such a small thing, but such an important part of your character, really.
Yeah, that was the one thing I like triple checked before we went on stage. Like, do I have this? Do I have this? Because like, it just wouldn't make sense if I didn't. You know, like I guess like when Ben is holding it towards the end of the show, like if I didn't have it, then people wouldn't like understand like why he was like staring at this cloth, like rolling his eyes out. You know, so
yeah. Justin, I'll ask you. have you carried anything with you from the happening? Like, what did you take away from the experience or the show? If anything, you don't have to have carried anything with you.
I guess the whole experience of playing the role was very observational. Like, I got to see this world that was so different from the character's world, from eyes that were very different from any of the other characters. So I guess, and you do this in your other plays, at least ones that I've experienced. You show communities that are very different from the ones we live in our everyday lives. So I guess it just gave me an understanding of how different people live, how there could be such a community that is very different from the one I exist in, and it could be really close by and I'm not aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mostly that.
That's cool. I do write as I write, and my writing's always changing, but I think one thing that is consistent is I really do think about the place as being a character. And so the place really, really matters to me. And so, yeah, I'm glad that you thought about that. And I will say, like, during the pandemic, the Amish, who are traditionally a very closed off community, have been making like tens and thousands of masks to send into the outside world.
Wow.
And you know, I think that that's really cool, because certainly this would be a time when you would think that they might even be more closed off out of fear. Certainly some of us would be and have been more closed off, but they've been really open and creating and sending things out into our world, so to speak. So, and I think that's just an example of it really is one big world anyway.
Yeah.
You know, when we were doing the happening, you know, I think a lot of people would look at it, and maybe they just did look at it and said, this is a play about school shootings, or this is a play about LGBT community. And, you know, we, in our experience, talked about it as, you know, being more than that. But I was wondering if one or both of you might just want to speak to the notion of why schools should engage in conversations about LGBT issues, or school violence, or, you know, like, you know, certainly it's controversial, but they're topics that students are talking about. So, you know, I'll just give you a moment, each of you, maybe if you want to talk about, you know, why as a high schooler speaking or thinking about these issues might be relevant. Does one of you want to start?
I can think of anything. I would say it's just important to engage in those conversations, even though they are controversial. But if nobody's going to talk about it, then real change isn't going to happen. So, like, it's uncomfortable, but like it needs to be spoken about. So that's all I can do.
Love it. How about you, Justin?
Can you phrase the question again?
So, like, if someone were to say, if someone read the script and was like, "Oh, I really love it, but this isn't appropriate for schools to do," what would you say?
Okay. Well, okay, I'll do both.
Okay.
Both topics that you mentioned. For school shootings, yeah, it's better for things not to be taboo, like Ari said, and also the fact that it was written for high schoolers to be performed by high school groups makes it more poignant, I guess, that it's like actual people who are that age living through what this might be like. And I guess people arguing it against it might argue that that's traumatic or not something we should show, but I mean, if you just look at the news and the numbers and statistics and how much it continues to affect people's lives, you can't just pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah, that's what I would say. And then speaking to LGBT issues, I think it's really cool that this play isn't, like, that's not the major focus, which it might have been interpreted by some people as the major focus, but it isn't. And I was writing a college essay about theater, and you told me to make it more personal, because I asked how I could make it better. And so I talked about the happening and how that's the case, that it's a play that's not based around the main character being gay. It's just like one facet and one nuance. And that's also not the reason he gets shunned. It's just like one nuance to a whole bunch of things that led up to him being shunned, if you want to use the word shunned.
Yeah.
So I think that is why it's good to show on stage a story that just treats the LGBT subplot as a subplot, another existing part of this life that they're living, and not just a show all about being gay.
Yeah. And I think certainly when we were working the play out, you know, that sort of went unsaid, I think, for a long time, that this was a play that's about family, it's a play that's about forgiveness, and these are the specific circumstances to this family. And then there did come a time when we had to defend it, and we really had to be able to articulate that. And so I think that actually helped us flush out how to talk to other people about the play. You know, when we had lived with it for a couple of weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then we actually had to talk to other people about it, it kind of became something else, which was, I think, cool.
Yeah, totally.
I want to ask one last question for each of you, which is not the happening related, unless it is, I don't know. And this is just lighthearted. Do you want to share a favorite Jamestown Theater memory? They're thinking, and so while they're thinking, I'm going to tell you, the audience, that if you tune in tomorrow night, we're going to talk about The Healing Machine, which was our one-act play from this year. And then on Thursday evening, we're going to do our Zoom play, which is called And all the other events this week are taking place on YouTube, but for the Zoom play, you actually have to register online. And so I've put a little link down below for you to register for that one, because it's shown sort of in a different way because it's coming to you live. So hopefully that's given them enough time to think of a memory. So we'll start with you, Ari. Ladies first.
All right, I thought of the time that we just randomly, I think Kayla called Ben Mishael, and then he just had that nickname and it just stuck. So yeah.
I love it. Perfect. How about you, Justin?
I think mine are all the times right before we would go on for a one-act, when we would warm up. And we had to do that sort of ceremony in lots of different places, in hallways and rooms in hotels, and also at Jamestown. Yeah, I think that's what stayed with me most.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see everybody else tomorrow evening, hopefully. Bye.
Bye. Bye.